Hello, my name is Daniel White. I'm an artist currently with a studio at the Boise Studios on 47th Avenue off of 12th here in East Oakland. I primarily I call myself a painter, basically, but any medium I can use to express myself is what I use. Although I have works, paintings here, I also do sculpture and I also do photography, just whatever form of expression I can get my hands on at the moment to fight a block in one area. I go to another area and that helps me fuel my creative process. I was born in San Francisco, but grew up in the Midwest in Kansas City, Missouri, and came here about 30 years ago, ironically, to become an actor. And the dream was to be in Los Angeles, and now here I am in Oakland. Oh, that's an easy one. We had just moved into a new house, and I'm in the kitchen going through the cabinets. My mother pulls out a drawing from the top cabinet of a horse. And I think I'm like 4, 5, somewhere around there. And I'm thinking, whoa. And my mom said, I drew that. That was so impressive. I was like, you can draw a horse? And from then on, I picked up a pencil and I started drawing. Of course, I think she had a pentagraph that she did it with. But still, it was amazing. I never really learned how to use the pentagraph, but the fact that you could imitate something that you see was intriguing to me. And from that moment on, at a young age, I've always either drawn or sculpted or was just very creative. And it became one of my strongest suits throughout my education was art and the creative process. That's my first memory. Uh, Another one was in high school when I would skip art class to go to the art gallery, to the Nelson Art Gallery. One day I'm there looking at one of my favorite paintings, of John the Baptist by Caravaggio, and ran into my art teacher and the class. He said, you might as well join us. So I've always had a love for art and especially a love for paintings and super realism, although I've kind of departed from that a little bit with the style that I'm currently exploring. Sure, my mom she would ask me, paint a sign for me about her doing hair or do something. Or my grandmother would say, oh, that's so pretty, when I would make drawings of people and caricatures of individuals to like get back at them when I didn't have a quick comeback verbally. So yes, she really encouraged it, more so than sports or anything. But it was always like the arts. She would tell me, no matter what else you've done in your life or go off and do, you always come back to your artwork. Sometimes I'll have an idea and I visualize it. I can see it in my head and say, this is what I want to do. Now, once I start it definitely changes. It changes according to the material I use, or something works or something doesn't work, and I have to shift it around. Like sometimes I'll use paper cutouts on canvas where I want to place objects and do a pencil drawing or rendering. Or even sometimes if I do a sketch on a napkin, I'm just sitting somewhere doodling, I'll save the napkin because I'll be like, oh, I like this. I can make this into a drawing or into a painting. So I have a couple of those around the house and up on the wall that want to be future projects that I want to pursue. So the creative process is just an ongoing thing. It's for me. It's like a writer. If you tell a writer a part of your story or an anecdote, who knows, it might end up in a novel. So you have to be careful with writers. But with my creative process, a lot of it, although I'm planning, a lot of it can be very impulsive as well, as to how am I feeling, what do I want to convey in this image, what do I want people to come away with in viewing the object or image of what I'm making and doing. Sometimes a block comes in a certain piece of work. I don't know where to go next. So I have to leave that work, start on something else until the work that I left comes into finishes itself. That might take a couple of weeks. It might take a year, where it's just hanging around the studio before I decide, oh, this is what needs to happen with that. Or I'll get a block where, for me personally, things have to be just right in the studio. Everything has to be in its place. And working, everything gets so out of place. It's like Hurricane Katrina's hit the studio. And I got to get everything back in place before I can start up again. So that's how I work around blocks, just keep different work going. I got priced out of San Francisco because having a live workspace in San Francisco is astronomical. First, I moved to Richmond because there was a CSI, at CSI Storage, they have art studios. Very nice art studios with air conditioning, heating, sink, restroom outside the door. You can lock your space. It's just top notch. I loved it there and lived out of my van because I wanted a studio more than I wanted kind of like a place to live. And because it was just me and my dogs, it worked until I had to have an operation on both my knees to have them replaced. So I found a place here in Oakland that ironically I had looked at years before that I couldn't afford. And actually I still can't afford it. But somehow I'm making it work out. So that's one draw that brought me to East Oakland. The price of having a studio, having a live workspace, walking my dogs. When I first came to Oakland, I had always thought of Oakland like I thought of Kansas City, Kansas. I grew up in Kansas City, Missouri. And Kansas City, Kansas was like across the river. It was a smaller city. I didn't think much of it. So I always thought of Oakland as to San Francisco, like Kansas City, Kansas was to Kansas City, Missouri. So when I came over here and I had got started rooming with a guy that had a garage, and I set up a studio in his garage and started walking my dogs. Walking my dogs in Oakland, up in the hills, it was magical. Because all of a sudden I start asking myself, this is Oakland? Oakland has really gotten a bad rap because of the crime, because of the things that happen on one side of 580 as opposed to the other side of 580. And it's just some of the homes and areas in Oakland are just beautiful. That's one of my favorite things about East Oakland that I found out by walking my dogs. Down by Cypress Mandela, there's a lot of art places. Oakland can truly be, I believe, a mecca for the arts. We have the culture here, and we have the space, and it can really be a thriving place for the arts and families here in Oakland. So that's what I would like to see Oakland going forward. Being an African American artist here in the United States of America, marketing myself as a Black artist. Henry Ossawa Turner, as a painter, was kind of not accepted as a Black artist. He didn't want to just be a Black artist. He wanted to cross over just to be an artist. And he started painting religious paintings to get his work out there. If I was in Ghana, I definitely would not be labeling myself as a Black artist. It would be artist, period. Painter, period. If I was anywhere below the equator in Africa, that would be who I am. That's who I am now. I am an artist. I am an artist first. America makes me a Black artist as a result of the struggles, as a result of racism, as a result of continued oppression, both covertly and overtly, of people of color in this country. So that is why the art of the African diaspora is like, that's why it continues. And that's why I think it has to continue. I'm just an artist. I'm a painter. But here in the United States of America, I'm more than just a painter. I'm kind of sometimes almost pressed to address in my work issues and things that are going on in the community, or my experience as a African American or as a Black artist, as an artist in America that's not recognized as an artist. I would like to someday get away from that. I think we have a long way to go for that to happen. So I think that's a dilemma for all of us, unless, of course, you want to label yourself, oh, I'm a Black artist. I got my target market, and that's who I'm catering to. But art is more than just one people's experience. It is an experience of everyone. And I think that really needs to be pushed in our schools and our communities even more.